All right, so this is a demonstration on how the new GeoFireFlow is going to work. It's more of a threat management or threat assessment tool than a cooperative multiplayer system. Even though that's all still working and that's all fine, I'm just adding some extra tools to be able to engage and understand the threat level of a particular area. So for example, if we wanted to treat this area, we have the ability to do that. So we can just kind of paint onto this area. We have this paintbrush tool, which is similar. This is actually number 6, which is to create a fuel break. But what it does is that it actually just changes, let's say, grass number 8 to grass number 1. If it's shrubs, it'll go down to shrub number 1 or timber number 1. So the lowest of its category kind of thing. So we can just kind of say, okay, well, all of this area is treated, and you can see just by the color, it's just a little bit different. So you can kind of tell where it is. And I've also given it a slightly a white tint to the color as well, just to make it a little bit more obvious. All right, so we can come over here, and now there are some graphs here. So let's say we expand this. We can now see the difference between untreated and treated territory. So the blue is the treated, and untreated is the orange. So you can see the orange is usually a higher value. Here's chains, um, the rate of spread, and this is the flame length. Now, these differences are more noticeable once we change, let's say, the fuel moisture, change the wind speed, and we start taking a look. We're looking at a different amount. So this shows that most of the territories under this square is in fact 4 feet or less in flame length. This is 8 feet, 16, 48, and 100. So you could see that it's a lot better for the treatment once it's treated. Same thing for rate of spread. This is less than 3 chains per hour. This is, less than 15, less than 45 chains per hour. So these are some additional things. So now we can come and we can start a fire. And let's give it, let's say 5 hours. And we're just going to give that a second just to produce. All right. Um, okay, let's just reduce the fire particles here so we can see. All right, so the blue area here is the treated area, which shows how far it went after 5 hours or by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, versus the white area, which is this area, which is, you can see it actually expanded over here. This had the road, so it had its natural protection. Um, but you can see how much further it was produced. Now, I also included the fuel, the most probable or the most likely path of the fire based off of these. You can see these lightning strikes kind of thing. So it just shows the most probable path for the fire to take. So we can add, another five hours, and we can see, um, it being produced here. So just takes a minute here just for everything to produce, and boom. All right. So this is after 10 hours. So all of this white here shows what it would have burnt over a 10-hour period versus this blue area, which is showing, now most of this is probably treated right here, so that's why it hasn't really consumed this very much. It did go around, so you can see it did kind of go around, but it does show, the how much it has helped. one of the things I want to add next is kind of like an automatic fire extinguishing. So if it's less than 4 feet, it's automatically um, extinguishes the flames. So again, we can do this, and we can actually take, a fairly large area if we want, and get some pretty good stats here on all of this. Um, and then also when we take a look here, um, over here, now all of this actually gets saved to file here. Right now I've got it set up to just be um, on the desktop. Let me just, all right, so let me just go to desktop and yeah, so in here, this data here, right, let's say data fuel, we're going to load that up into Excel. All right. So we can see the fuel original count. So these are the types of original fuels and the count of each one. And based off of the wind speed, the current wind speed and wind direction, we've got these values, whether it's flame length or rate of spread. And then once we're treated, we can see how many extra were treated, let's say like GS1 versus GS1 here, right? So GS2 really got upgraded. So it really does help with the rate of spread and things like that. So all of this data is available. Same thing with flame lengths. It just shows, the flame length, it's 4 feet or less, 8 feet or less, 16 feet, 48 or 100. And this is the number that are now showing, right? So previously there was a lot more, uh, you know, 6,700 pixels were 16 feet or less. Now it's only 3,000. So you can see it got shifted over. So we can in fact just, let's say we take this off here and we could do a quick um, chart, um, right? So this will show exactly what we're seeing here, right? So this is again just the number of counts versus the original as well as this. So yeah, so it just kind of gives you an idea of what the data is for that. Anyways, so there's all of that. Now this the painting of the paintbrush. So if we return this back and we have this area here. Um, this paintbrush size right now is 5 pixels as a radius to this paintbrush, so it's up to 10 pixels altogether. So if we wanted to, we can actually change that to be kind of a larger or smaller, depending on how detailed you want to be able to do that. The other thing too is that this paintbrush is dynamic. So right now I've created just one single paintbrush, which is I converts everything to its smallest for each group. If it's a grass, it'll go to grass number one. If it's shrubs, it'll go to shrub number one. We can create new paintbrushes that says, okay, everything goes to bare ground, right? Just this kind of brown pixel. So I could create a new paintbrush that just does that, just changes everything. So we can actually create multiple different types of paintbrushes, which would be very useful depending on exactly what it is that you want to be able to, alter these pixels here. But right now, this is what it is, where it's just changing all of the original pixels to the same type, but at the level one. All right, I think we've got that. Um, Also, if we did take a look and we change this, we can see, oh, that's interesting. It's close, actually. I should probably take a look, but this is just showing, um, the value. Actually, this is kind of all jumbled. But right now, these maps and these graphs are going to be somewhere else. They'll probably all be on this side, and I'll probably make this more opaque and allow people to be able to scroll up and down and see that data as well right here. So that's pretty good. All right. I think that pretty much sums it up.